千里之行，始于足下。A journey of 1,000 miles begins beneath the feet. We now gather in the Tao to travel the journey together. When you practice the Tao, not necessarily in the West, but when you practice the Tao in Asia, and I'll use Taiwan as an example, the Tao masters are very active in the Tao community. They will oftentimes visit with practitioners just to maintain that personal connection, just to maintain that contact, to provide encouragement, to hear about the various problems that they may be encountering, to make some suggestions. But mostly it's just to refresh that personal acquaintance. So there's a story that results from one of these visits. It's a story that I call the stapler, a modern story from modern times, and it comes from one of these visits from a Tao master visiting with the Tao community, and in this particular case, he's visiting with a friend at this friend's office. And this friend is a beginner in the Tao, a beginning cultivator in the Tao, a young man still in his 20s. Now he's a smart young man who graduated from university at the top of his class, and now he's working as a clerk at a company. So the master is visiting with him, and the young man is happy to see the Tao master. So the Tao master notices that the young man has stationery neatly arranged on his desk, the typical stationery supplies. So the young man notices the master's gaze at his desk, and the young man smiles. And he says, "Master, I must tell you about a personal experience that I had." He said, "One time, not too long ago, this entire division was getting very busy in preparation for an important meeting. So everyone was assigned tasks. There were so many things that we needed to do to make preparations that everyone had something to get done. Basically, our division needed to provide all the meeting attendees, the delegates, and there were several dozen of them, we needed to provide them with data that they can reference in the course of the meeting. Therefore, multiple teams were working overtime to prepare, check, and double check the numbers that we would provide to them in the business data that's being discussed. So as soon as the data has been confirmed by the multiple teams, office administration teams would print hard copies of the data and collect them together in piles. So my task in comparison to that was really simple. My task was simply to use my stapler, this thing that you see right here, staple them together, keep the pages together. So our senior management had told us several times about the importance of this meeting and the importance of being fully prepared. He asked us to start early, to get whatever we could done in advance completed, so that we would not be caught unprepared at the last minute. So back in those days, Master, I was new to the company and also new to the Tao. I was not at all happy with my assignment. I was not satisfied with what I thought was a trivial responsibility. My thinking was that, well, stapling pages together, even a high school graduate could do that. This is kind of insulting to me. This is not the important responsibility I was expecting, especially with my background of academic excellence. So right before the meeting, the night before the meeting, it was after hours. We worked very late into the night, and finally, all the information was completed, confirmed by various departments, and printed by the administrative supporting team. The printouts were all stacked, waiting to be stapled together. So that's my cue. I started on them one by one. I mean, this was beyond easy. So as I was stapling the pages together, I was already thinking about going home, enjoying a nice meal, and then going to sleep. So I was thinking about that. I was able to get about a dozen done stapling pages together when I ran out of staples. I remember feeling annoyed. So I went to the common stationery supplies drawers to get a new box of staples. You know, this was just a speed bump. I want to put in the new staples and then finish stapling, and then I could be on my way. So I opened up the drawer where the boxes of staples were stored at, and much to my shock, it was empty. So unexpectedly to me, we have run out of staples right on that crucial date. And now, Master, as I'm talking to you about it, thinking about it, it really does make sense, because in the days leading up to the meeting, everyone in the office was using the stapler much more than usual. So it makes sense that we would be running out. But that's not what I was thinking when I was facing the empty drawer. I was in panic mode, Master. So I looked everywhere in the office. I looked at my own drawers. I asked everybody who was still there, who still hadn't gone home yet. They all tried to help me, but no one could come up with anything. We were completely out of staples. It was unbelievable. I could not believe my bad luck. It was already 11 p.m. For the big meeting tomorrow, I knew that we had to get the information to dozens of meeting delegates before 8 a.m. Now, to say the least, my boss, the manager, was not happy about this. He said to me, he said, "Well, didn't I tell you to be fully prepared and not wait until the last minute? If you can't even handle this small, simple task, tell me, what good is your university degree? What good is your university education?" Well, Master, I could say nothing back to my boss. It was humiliating, and it was my fault. I felt like I got slapped in the face, hard. So I went searching around for staples. There was none to be had within the company, so I went outside. I went searching in the vicinity. Needless to say, it was close to midnight. At around that time, most stores were closed. I went from one empty street to another empty street, feeling increasingly desperate. So make a long story short, I finally found a business center that was open 24 hours, that was not too far away from my office. So finally, I got the staples, I got the new staples, and I brought it back. I brought the boxes back to the office. I finished the job of stapling all the pages together. It was around 4 a.m. when I finally reported completion to my boss. Now, I was expecting a reprimand from him, but he only said to me, "Remember, when it comes to work, everybody is equal." That stayed with me, Master. I knew what he meant. I just no idea that my arrogance about my university education was that obvious. I learned many lessons that day, not just about arrogance, but also about the Tao. So that's the story that the Tao Master told me about the stapler. Now, I want to ask you, everyone who listened to the story, how does the story fit in with what we have just talked about? The idea of big and small things and treating them with serious intent. That is the essence of this particular chapter. Let me ask you, how does the story fit in with that? How could the young man have approached the assignment differently? Yes, you guys are on the right track. As Tao cultivators, when we approach work, and I'm talking about any kind of work, big or small, we must do so on the heaviness side of the spectrum, with serious intent, with thoughtfulness, with respect, the proper respect for the task at hand. Our meeting has come to an end, but the journey continues on. Let us travel safely. Until next time, may the Tao fill you with peace and happiness.